granary, children. You might have seen in the villages. Generally we call it as hut-like structure. On the elevated place they will construct this hut. Inside they will store the grain. So this is normally villages they will have. This is commercially they will store the grain in silos. Metal a very big chambers will be there. They will store the grain for a long time. Next, this is cold storage and deep freezers. When you go to the supermarkets and all, you will see ice creams will be stored. Generally ice creams, so mutton. Next, what is that? Mutton, cheese. All these things will be stored. Generally in the supermarkets you will see. So as they are perishable items, they will be stored in cold storages and deep freezers. So these are perishable items. Non-perishable items will be stored in silos and granaries. Right? Thank you, children. See, today I am taking a little more topic because I wanted to wind up by today, and one more class will be there on Wednesday. I wanted to give notes or some important questions of this chapter because in May 1st, 2nd and 3rd you will be writing unit test. So this will be the portion for your unit test. So just you go through the lesson, you will understand, and if you have any doubt you can message me personally. Okay. Now you see the last segment. We came to the last topic that we finished, storage we finished. Now all the 7 topics we finished. Now what is the next point? The lesson you see, crop production and its management. So crop improvement, how to improve crop improvement, how the improvement can be done. By improving, because the population is growing day by day, but agricultural land cannot be increased. So what is the next alternative? We have to increase the yield per acre. So how to do that? So this in 1960s, Green Revolution, we brought one Green Revolution. Revolution means a great activity, agitation created by the country and the people. Now this revolution, what is this revolution? This is very famous definition. What is it? To meet the demands of the growing population and to feed every citizen of India, a revolution was brought to improve the crop production. What for? To improve the crop production. So many revolutions you might have seen and you might have read, but this is to improve the crop production. It's called the Green Revolution. Who brought this Green Revolution to India? M.S. Swaminathan in 1960. M.S. Swaminathan. See this pic? He is M.S. Swaminathan. Still he is alive. He is doing lot of research still, and he is called as father of Indian Green Revolution. Green Revolution in India. He is the father. He was the father. And now in overall world, Norman Borlaug was the father of the Green Revolution. Now I want you people to collect information about M.S. Swaminathan. Okay. Now see what he did. He introduced Green Revolution in India by introducing a variety called dwarf Mexican wheat variety. What variety he brought? Dwarf means very short. Mexican wheat variety. Mexican wheat. The wheat which will grow in the Mexico and in India, both varieties he crossbred, and he brought this dwarf Mexican wheat variety. So by introducing that variety in Punjab, Haryana and all the other states of India, within 7 years we became self-sufficient and we were in a position to even export our grain to other countries. That much fast and that much very rapidly we increased the yield. Now how could we achieve this Green Revolution? So this Green Revolution we achieved by introducing this variety. Now definitely this variety must have some good qualities. What are the qualities? It has high yielding, resistance to pests, waterlogging and diseases. So already all the qualities what we want, all the qualities it is possessing. That's why this plant, by introducing this variety, we could achieve Green Revolution within 5 to 6 years. Right children? So now how he actually produced this, I will teach you in the next slide. How he produced dwarf Mexican wheat variety is our story now. How he produced? By a technique called hybridization. Have you heard about hybridization? No, you did not hear so far. First I will define it, then I will explain. You see, crossbreeding of two varieties to produce high yielding variety is called hybridization. What is it? Crossbreeding. What do you mean by crossbreeding? discuss now. Now you see that this is flower. Can you see, children? This is flower. It is bisexual flower, means male reproductive organs and female reproductive organs both are present. So this is stigma. I think in 7th class you dissected the flower and you pasted in your classwork book. I know that. What you have done, I know. So this is stigma. Stigma is the outside part of the female reproductive organ. These are called stamen. Stamen will have anther and filament. Anther will produce pollen grains. The transfer of pollen grains from this anther to stigma is called pollination. Okay. So the same pollen grains will fall on the same stigma. Same flower stigma means this is self-pollination. The pollen grains of these flowers will fall on the another flower of the same variety is called cross-pollination. So pollinations are two types, self-pollination, or maybe this pollen grains will fall on another flower of the same species. On the shoe flower plant only, flower only, another flower, if it falls, that is called cross-pollination. So two types, in self-pollination and cross-pollination. Oh, okay. This generally it will happen in the nature. But hybridization means what? Two varieties we will select. Now this plant I will select and another variety like rose, jasmine or something I will take it. So the pollen grains of this plant will transfer to that stigma, makes that to produce a new seed. Is called actually hybridization. Now hybridization, now you see this is having both male and female reproductive organs. No, if I did not cut this male part, what may happen? It will do self-pollination. So if it done self-pollination, my work will not be completed. That's why what I will do in the bud condition itself, I will remove all these, what are these? Male reproductive organs, stamen. This stamen I will cut it in the bud condition itself. Forcibly I will open it and I will remove all these male reproductive organs. This process is called emasculation. What is this called? Emasculation. So this, when you remove, then there is no other alternative. What is the no other alternative means? It cannot do self-pollination. Now I will bring some other pollen grains and I will dust on it, so that two different varieties are mixed. This is only called hybridization, and I will share you one video also so that you can understand it, right? So this pollen grain will go inside and it will fuses and forms a seed. I think you know that. The seeds will be sown in the field, right? Now who will do this? Now can you do it naturally? Shoe flowers, pollen grains will stick onto the jasmine. Will it happen naturally? No. It can be done in the laboratories. Who will do that? Scientists will do that. So that's why, who will give the high yielding variety seeds to the farmers? Scientists. Where they will produce? In agricultural universities and the research laboratories. They will produce these seeds, and then on experimental basis they will produce the seeds, and that seeds will be given to the farmers. How that COVID vaccine they are testing in the laboratory, first they are testing, no, then they will give some experimental group, few people they will give, then few, still more, the group number will be increased, then they will give to the public, normal public. Like that the testing agencies will be there. By testing agencies they will give it to the, finally it will come to the farmer. Is it clear, children? Now go through the lesson. If you have any problem, you can message me. No hesitation. Feel free to ask the questions. Next May you are going to write unit test in this chapter. Right? Thank you.